Howard checked his watch. He still had 7 minutes before security started asking questions. Peggy flexed her fingers, rolling her shoulder like she could already feel the serum working. She glanced at the small round record player he had placed beside the vial. "And this?" she asked, picking it up. "You brought me a record player, too?" Howard shrugged. "Not my idea. The person who gave me the serum wanted you to have it." Peggy raised an eyebrow. "And you don't know what's inside?" Howard shook his head. "Nope. Just told to make sure you got it." He wasn't lying, not really. He just left out the part where Tony was the one who gave it to him. Peggy studied his face for a second, like she knew he was holding something back. But instead of pressing, she turned her attention to the device. It wasn't an ordinary record player. It was small, smooth, and had just one button on the top. Without hesitation, she pressed it. A holographic map flickered to life above the device. Howard's eyes widened. "Well, that's new." The map showed the Arctic. Cold, empty, endless ice, except for a single red dot. Over the red dot, glowing words appeared: "Location of Steve Rogers." Howard felt his breath catch in his throat. He turned to Peggy. She was staring at the map, frozen, her hands clenched tight. More words appeared beneath the red dot: "He's frozen in ice. Recovering him would be hard. Shield cannot be trusted yet. Solve the situation inside Shield. Keep your emotions in check. Don't do anything stupid. If they can make a scapegoat out of you, just imagine what they would do to him. 1 week is all you have. That serum you took is more than just your regular SSS. You will know soon enough. Take down the traitor and meet me at the location. 1 week is all I can give you. Good luck." Silence filled the room. "You gotta be kidding me." "Oh, Tony, these things you're doing ain't good for my heart." Howard swallowed hard. "Well, that's not what I expected." Peggy took a slow breath, her voice steady but sharp. "Who gave this to you, Howard?" He hesitated. He could tell the truth. He could tell her it was Tony, but if he did, she'd have more questions. Dangerous questions. So instead, he just said, "Someone who wants to help." Peggy didn't look away from the map. Her fingers hovered over the red dot, tracing it like she could reach through the projection and pull Steve out of the ice herself. Howard knew that look. She wasn't just going to sit here and do nothing. She found a little ray of hope after so many years and she won't let it go. She was already planning how to get him back. The player disintegrated into dust before their eyes, the holographic projection flickering out as if it had never existed. A faint hum lingered in the air for half a second, then silence. Peggy's eyes remained locked on the empty space where the map had been. Her fingers, still hovering in midair, slowly curled into a fist. Howard exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "Well, that's one way to make sure no one traces it." Peggy didn't respond right away. Instead, she sat back, taking in a deep breath before finally speaking. "Howard." Her voice was even, but there was an edge to it. "What are the chances that what I just saw is true?" Howard didn't hesitate. Didn't even blink. 100%. Peggy turned sharply to face him, searching his expression for any sign of doubt. She found none. "Just like that?" she pressed. "You're certain?" Howard folded his arms. "Peggy, you know me. I don't say things like that unless I mean it. If this was some wild theory or a half-baked guess, I'd be the first one picking it apart. But the person who gave me that player? The person who gave me that serum?" He shook his head. "They don't deal in maybes. If they say Steve's out there, then he is." Peggy exhaled, her gaze dropping to the floor. For a long moment, she was silent, then, softly, she asked, "Who?" Howard hesitated. He could feel her looking at him, waiting. And for a split second, he considered telling her the truth about Tony. But he knew Peggy. He knew how she operated. If she knew Tony was involved, she'd demand to meet him, demand answers, and that wasn't an option. Not yet. So instead, he gave her the only answer he could. As the message said. 1 week. Solve the situation here and then meet him at the location. Sorry, Peggy. I can't put him at risk. She stood, rolling her shoulders again, as if testing the serum's effects. Already, Howard could see a difference. The stiffness in her joints was fading, the exhaustion in her posture easing. She was getting stronger, and if she was getting stronger, that meant whoever was trying to keep her locked away. They were running out of time. Peggy met Howard's gaze, eyes sharp and filled with something he hadn't seen in decades, determination. I have 1 week, she said, repeating the words from the message. 1 week to take down a traitor in S.H.I.E.L.D. and set things right. Howard nodded. Yeah. And I have a feeling it's gonna be the longest damn week of our lives. Peggy smirked. Then we'd better get started. Howard grinned. That's the Peggy Carter I know. But we'll start tomorrow. Or, you can always do it the good old ways. You know, smash through everything, beat up a few agents for information. That'd depend on the serum's effect. Just be ready tonight, she said, clenching her fists. That night, Peggy couldn't sleep. She lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing. The message, the serum, Steve, everything was swirling in her head. Then, it began. A strange warmth spread through her body, starting from the injection site in her arm. It wasn't painful, but it wasn't comfortable either. It felt like her blood was heating up, moving faster, changing. She sat up, gripping the edge of the bed as a wave of dizziness hit her. Her heart pounded. Her muscles tensed. Then, she felt it, the stiffness in her joints faded. The aches and pains she had lived with for years disappeared, melting away like they had never been there. Her hands, once lined with age, became smoother before her eyes. She rushed to the small mirror on the wall. Her face was changing. Wrinkles softened, then vanished. Her silver hair darkened, returning to the rich brown it had been in her youth. Her eyes, once dulled by time, grew sharp and bright. Her breathing quickened. She touched her face, feeling smooth skin and firm muscles. Then came the real change. Her body burned, not with pain, but with power. Strength filled her limbs. She clenched her fists, and for the first time in decades, she felt unbreakable. Her posture straightened, her muscles firmed. She was young again. Peggy took a deep breath. She felt alive. More alive than she had in years. As for the cameras, Howard took control of it after leaving Peggy's room. Peggy took a deep breath and clenched her fists. The surge of strength in her body felt unreal, but there was no time to question it. She had a mission. She stepped toward the heavy metal door and gripped the edges. The thick steel groaned under her grip. With a sharp breath, she pulled. Metal bent like it was nothing. The door ripped open, and the sound of tearing steel echoed through the hallway. The guards outside snapped to attention. Stand down, one of them ordered, raising an electric baton. What the hell? Who is she? The other one aimed his taser. Peggy stepped forward. They moved fast. She barely had time to react before they attacked. An electric baton struck her shoulder. Blue sparks crackled over her skin. She braced for pain, for the numbing shock, but felt nothing. A second guard jabbed a taser into her ribs. The prongs dug into her skin. Sparks flew. Again, nothing. Peggy frowned. She could feel the pressure of the attacks, but no pain. No weakness. If anything, the shocks only made her more aware of how strong she had become. She moved fast. Her fist struck the first guard, sending him flying into the wall. He crumpled, groaning. The second tried to swing at her, but she caught his wrist, twisted it, and sent him crashing to the floor. The third aimed a sonic gun at her. A deafening pulse of energy blasted through the hallway. Peggy staggered back, ears ringing, annoying. But not enough. She pushed forward, grabbed the sonic gun, and crushed it in her hands like it was made of paper. The guard's eyes widened in fear. Don't ever do that again. Then she knocked him out with a single punch. She turned toward the exit. As soon as she opened the gate, bang! A sharp, burning pain tore through her leg, she gasped, stumbling forward. Bang, another bullet hit her other leg. She collapsed to one knee, the pain was intense. Real. A shock after feeling invincible just moments ago. She gritted her teeth, forcing herself to stay focused. Armor-piercing bullets, huh? She looked up. A new group of guards stood at the end of the hallway. Black armor. Heavy rifles. Lethal unit, they weren't holding back. Peggy braced for another shot, but before they could fire again, something strange happened. The pain in her legs faded. She glanced down. The bullet wounds were closing. Muscle and skin knitting together right before her eyes. Wow! Instant regeneration? The guards hesitated, watching in shock. Then Peggy heard a voice in her head. She was shocked for a moment but quickly recovered. What are you waiting for? You have instant regeneration. Fight till your heart's content. Get used to your new body. And no worries, you won't die. Oh, if you are wondering who am I? Well, I made that serum and there are countless nanites running in your body. I'm simply speaking through them. So, chop chop. You have 15 minutes to get out of there. Peggy smirked, then she stood. Their hesitation cost them. She lunged. Peggy grinned as she stood tall. The pain in her legs had vanished. The bullets had done nothing. The wounds were already healed. The guards hesitated. They had just shot her twice and yet, here she was, standing like nothing had happened. Peggy cracked her knuckles. My turn. She moved fast, faster than she thought possible. In a blink, she was right in front of the first guard. His eyes widened in shock. Ahaha. To think I'd be running again and this fast. She grabbed his rifle and crushed it like it was made of paper. His mouth fell open, but before he could react, she punched him in the chest. Hard. He flew backward, crashing into two other guards. All three of them went down like bowling pins. The remaining guards snapped out of their shock. They raised their weapons and fired. Peggy moved, her body reacted before she even thought about it. She dodged left, then right, weaving between the bullets like she had been doing this her whole life. It felt natural. Instinctive. One bullet grazed her shoulder. The skin broke for a second and then healed almost instantly. This is incredible, she thought. She reached the next guard before he could reload. She grabbed his vest and lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. He kicked and struggled, but she tossed him aside like a rag doll. Another guard swung the butt of his rifle at her head. Peggy ducked. The motion was so smooth, so effortless. She felt weightless. Strong. Powerful. She caught his arm and twisted it. He screamed as the gun fell from his grip. Peggy didn't stop. She drove her knee into his stomach, sending him crashing into the wall. Two more guards charged her. One had a baton crackling with electricity. The other had a knife. Peggy smirked. Really? A knife? The one with the baton struck first. The electric charge hit Peggy's arm but it did 0 damage. She grabbed the baton, snapped it in half, and punched him so hard he spun in the air before hitting the ground. The man with the knife hesitated. Peggy raised an eyebrow. You sure you want to do this? He lunged. She sidestepped easily, grabbed his wrist, and squeezed. His fingers opened, dropping the knife. She caught it before it hit the ground, then she knocked him out with the handle. More guards appeared at the end of the hallway. Heavily armored. Bigger weapons. Peggy exhaled, rolling her shoulders. All right then. Let's see what else I can do. The voice in her head returned. You're learning fast. Good. But you're running out of time. Keep moving. Peggy smirked. Gladly. More guards flooded the hallway, their weapons raised, their faces tense. They had seen what she could do, but they weren't backing down. Stand down, one of them ordered. You're outnumbered. Peggy laughed. Am I? Before they could fire, she charged. She moved like a blur, faster than even she expected. 1 second, she was standing still, the next, she was in the middle of them. She grabbed the first guard and hurled him into 2 others. They crashed into a wall, groaning in pain. A fourth guard aimed a heavy-duty energy rifle at her. Too slow. She slapped the barrel aside as he fired, sending a blast of energy into the ceiling. Sparks rained down as she punched him in the gut. He crumpled instantly. A fifth guard tried to hit her with a stun baton. She caught his wrist mid-swing and twisted it. He screamed as she disarmed him and knocked him out with the same baton, left side. The voice in her head warned her just in time. She ducked as a high-speed projectile whizzed past her ear. Sniper, her eyes snapped toward the far end of the hall. There, up on the balcony. A shield marksman, adjusting his aim. Peggy moved. She grabbed a fallen guard's rifle and hurled it like a spear. It slammed into the sniper, knocking him off balance. He fell backward, crashing out of sight. Clear. For now. Peggy exhaled. Her heart was racing, but not from exhaustion. She felt alive. Stronger than she ever had before. She turned and sprinted down the hall. Every step felt light and effortless. The control room wasn't far now. She reached a heavy security door. It was a reinforced steel, fingerprint scanner, with no visible weakness. A normal person wouldn't get through without authorization. Peggy wasn't a normal person anymore. She grabbed the edges and pulled. The metal groaned, twisted, and then crack. Snapped apart like it was made of cardboard. She ripped the doors open and stepped inside. The main control room was a circular space, filled with glowing monitors, security feeds, and blinking consoles. A handful of SHIELD operators turned in shock as she entered. One of them reached for an alarm. Peggy moved faster. She crossed the room in a heartbeat, slamming his head into the console before he could press the button. The others backed away, hands up. "I'm not here to hurt you," Peggy said, her voice firm. "I just want to know, who wants me dead and why. Oh, and give me Fury's location." Meanwhile, SHIELD helicarrier, under attack. Gunfire echoed through the hallways of the SHIELD helicarrier. Fury crouched behind cover, reloading his pistol with quick, practiced movements. Across from him, Howard Stark was doing the same, his expression tense but focused. "They just keep coming," Howard muttered, ducking as bullets whizzed past his head. Fury gritted his teeth and fired back. "I thought we cleared out the Hydra rats years ago." "Yeah, well, looks like they were hiding under the damn floorboards." Howard snapped, taking a shot at an enemy agent before ducking back behind cover. Down the hall, Hydra agents were advancing in tight formation, their weapons trained on Fury and Howard. They moved with precision, their tactics too well coordinated. Leading them were 2 figures Fury recognized immediately, Grant Ward and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Ward smirked, his rifle steady. "Out of bullets yet, Director?" Fury narrowed his eyes. "Not yet." Valentina chuckled, stepping forward. "Come on, Fury. You know how this ends. Just surrender, and I promise we won't kill you, right away." Howard scoffed. "Wow, what a generous offer." Ward tilted his head. "You should listen, Stark. You're outnumbered, outgunned, and judging by how you're sweating, almost out of ammo." Howard wiped his forehead. "Yeah, well, that's just because it's hot in here." Fury gave him a look. "You got a plan, Stark?" "Because I'm running low." Howard checked his pockets. "Well, I got 1 grenade, a busted communicator, and a really strong urge to punch that guy in the face." He pointed at Ward. Ward grinned. "Go ahead. Try it." Fury sighed. "That's not a plan, Stark." Howard shrugged. "Okay, fine. But you better not ask any questions and keep whatever you see a secret." He checked the wristwatch Tony gave him. He had no idea what was inside it. A weapon? Armor? He just hoped it would help. That he pressed the button on the side. Nanites flowed out of the watch, spreading over his body like liquid metal. In seconds, they formed a red and silver high-tech suit. A glowing HUD flickered to life before his eyes, showing data, enemy positions, and even his own heartbeat. Howard blinked. Huh. Fury stared. What the hell, Stark? Wow. Nanotechnology? Howard flexed his fingers, feeling the smooth armor shift with him. I have no idea. Howard turned his wrist slightly, and the HUD flickered with new data streams. Targeting reticles, enemy vitals, and movement trajectories are all displayed in rapid succession. Then, a voice, unmistakably artificial, spoke in his ear. Hermes M2 online. Situation, hostile engagement detected. Immediate action required. Howard raised an eyebrow. Yeah, no kidding. Select combat mode, lethal/non-lethal, Howard frowned. He wasn't in the business of senseless killing, not unless absolutely necessary. Hydra scum or not, these people had information. They could tell him who was pulling the strings. Non-lethal, he said. I wanna ask these guys some questions when we're done. Acknowledged. Fury, still crouched behind cover, eyed Howard warily. You sure you know what you're doing, Stark? Howard smirked inside the helmet. Not even a little bit. Auto combat mode available. Activate? Howard hesitated. Auto? As in, you fight for me? Affirmative. Auto combat mode allows full AI-assisted engagement, optimizing efficiency and reaction time beyond human limitations. Howard exhaled sharply. Time was running out, and he wasn't about to fumble with controls he didn't understand. All right, Hermes, do your thing. Auto combat mode, engage. Acknowledged. Initiating combat protocols. The second the command was given, Howard's body moved, his right arm snapped up, a pulse of concussive energy firing from his palm. The blast hit a Hydra agent square in the chest, launching him backward into two others. Before they could react, Howard's legs propelled him forward in a burst of speed. Whoa, he yelped as the suit guided his movements. A Hydra soldier swung a baton at his head. Howard's body moved effortlessly, avoiding the strike. His left gauntlet shot forward, releasing a small burst of electricity that incapacitated the attacker instantly. Ward's smirk faded. What the hell kind of Stark tech is that? Howard grinned. The kind that makes your job a whole lot harder. Two more agents raised their rifles. Before they could fire, Howard's suit calculated their angles and moved him accordingly. A quick sidestep, a swift twist of his wrist, twin energy pulses knocked both Hydra goons unconscious. Fury took the opportunity to emerge from cover, unloading precise shots that took down another pair of enemies. Alright, I take it back. That thing's useful. Valentina, still watching from the back, gave an amused chuckle. Impressive, Stark. But let's see how well you handle this. She tapped a device on her wrist. The floor beneath Howard suddenly hummed with an electromagnetic pulse. Classic shield security measure designed to deactivate weapons and technology. And that new getup of yours is filled with tech, she smirked with an arrogant expression. So. Enjoy the little shock.